Hey, it's Gina again. As promised, I wanted to share a video with you just solely about what was the C-section like. Well, I'm sure your doctor tells you if you have already scheduled a C-section, they finally go into some details, and they let you know that they're only going to allow one person to go back with you. Some hospitals are different. Mine did stick to that firmly. I asked multiple anesthesiologists. I actually had a little bit of cried a little bit before and kind of almost begged the doctors to let my mom go back too, but it just wasn't something they felt comfortable with and that they were willing to bend on. So just you and your husband can go back, or you and one other support person, mom, friend, doula, whoever you choose. But in my case, I did have my husband come back, little Declan's daddy. And but before they let him back, it's actually you and the anesthesiologist and just a couple people who you don't even have any interaction with go in the room first. This is to do the anesthetic. So I went in with them. They had actually come to my room to get me and just wheeled you back to where you're going to have surgery in the OR. And he tells you it's going to feel pressure. It's going to feel like stinging. But like I said, there's a lot of other people in the room. They don't talk to you. They help you onto the table. They put a numbing agent on your back. And then the only person that I remember talking to me, at least, was the anesthesiologist telling me it's going to sting. You're going to feel pressure. It's going to continue to sting. The burning's going to get worse. Personally, I am terrified of needles, petrified of needles, more afraid of needles than the actual surgery, than pretty much anything. And I didn't have a problem with this. Not at all. It sounded terrifying, sounded scary. The way he described it sounded like it was going to be uncomfortable and painful. And I'm not saying it felt good, but I really just was focusing primarily on meeting this little guy and the fact that these were just baby steps to getting through my labor and to getting to see him. The worst part was, as I mentioned in a previous video, I was actually 6 centimeters dilated. This was planned, I would say. My water broke and we had a planned C-section. So I did know this was coming and we did have some time. But I did not expect, because I ate all that Taco Bell, to have to wait for surgery and then be dilated further and start going into surgery having contractions. The worst part was, for me, right about the time he was putting the needle in, I got just one of those crazy contractions, and they told me right before he did it, you cannot move. I want you to breathe through it, cannot move. Just follow their directions, listen to their voices, and remember, this is going to get you to your little one. So just really focus. Stay focused on their voice, stay focused on the angle. I just was able to breathe, stay calm, and I didn't let my fear of needles or my fear of surgery really get into my head. Just focus on your child. This is what you're doing this for. So I was able to breathe through it all. And just really, it wasn't bad. Sorry, my video got a little bit interrupted there, but that's okay. So we were talking just about what the anesthetic was like. After they give me the anesthetic, the big needle in your back, the big scary part, they helped me lay down, and I was on this kind of cold metal table, and it was cold in the room. I've heard horror stories about it being the most freezing part, but it really wasn't that bad. It was a little weird. They do strap your legs and your hands and your arms kind of down to the table, and then you're just sitting there for a little while. I'm not sure what kind of prep they were doing because they didn't interact with me or ask me many questions. I just felt like I was laying there for a while, just waiting, wondering where's my husband. So it's okay. Again, focus on your little one. Little boy, little girl, whoever you've got coming, focus on them. Finally, my husband came in. I really wasn't sure at first. You are on drugs. I thought I heard his voice. Didn't see him because, like I said, you're strapped down. You can't really move around. And he finally came up in a little stool right next to me and was able to just be with me and be right beside me and talk me through it all. They put up this big curtain so I couldn't see anything. I really wanted to watch the surgery. but they said that they don't allow that, which is okay. Oh, sorry, he's just wanting to move around a little bit. And I felt mostly what people describe or what you read, pulling, tugging, pushing. The cut of the incision didn't sting, didn't hurt. You really do just feel a lot of moving around, some pressure. But the anesthesiologist was great. He told me when I might feel more pressure or where I might feel the pressure. Like, for instance, this little guy decided he wanted to try to exit through the birth canal while they were pulling him out. I didn't know about this. They didn't want to panic Mom. They didn't want to panic us, but my husband did know. And they just kept me calm and said, you're going to feel more pressure. It's going to literally feel like someone is just sitting on your rib cage. And it did. But like I said, they talked me through it kind of play by play. I would highly recommend that you ask for this. In my case, I was very fortunate that it's just their procedure and their policy to talk Mom through things. But you can just say, hey, tell me kind of what's going on or what to expect. So you're not just laying there wondering, when is this going to end? It wasn't bad. Nothing was incredibly painful or even terribly uncomfortable. It just felt very weird, I guess, to explain it. It felt like you were having surgery, not painful surgery, but that they were just literally moving things all around and you were awake. So it made things it was kind of interesting, to be honest. I don't think it was a bad experience at all. He said, in a minute, we're going to have Declan out. We're going to hold up your baby and you'll be able to see him. The first thing I remember, just first hearing him, I heard his cry, just a real little cry, which was really comforting to me because I mean, you know the baby's going to be out and you don't know, is there any sort of concern or fear? As soon as I heard his cry, I just felt like a whole just calm swept right over me. I was praying throughout the entire surgery, of course, as well, but it was just really incredible. And to have that just calm, he's here, I heard him. The way things work at our hospital is they clean them off, they weigh them. There's not skin on skin. That's okay with me, or was okay with me. I was originally planning to, of course, if I did a traditional vaginal birth, but that wasn't how things went. So I went with the hospital's procedure, of course. They weighed him and they made it so that I was able to watch everything. They held him up for me right away. And then everything they were doing, weighing him, checking him, I was able to see, and they were kind of talking me through things and saying, here's what's happening with him. I was able to talk to him. I couldn't touch him or do anything like that, but I could talk to him. And I did notice just the sound in my voice, just for your mamas out there, talk to your babies. I encourage you to. Well, if you are a C-section mama and you just want to interact with them, talk to them while they're over there. It seemed to calm him a lot. My husband noticed it as well. And my husband was able to get a picture of him in front of the machine with the weight and everything on it and send it to the family. Of course, I also tell you, if your husbands do this, maybe warn them, cover up your little one. We have a little boy, and he did send a very full frontal photo of our little boy out to all the family. Says he's healthy. But it's funny to look back on now. That is his first photo, though. I really am not one to be sentimental, don't care much about first. But if you're a mama and that's the first photo, maybe that's not what you want. So just kind of be mindful of that. I think it's kind of a funny story, and I will think very fondly every time I look at that first photo. But if you're wanting a different kind of first photo, just so you know, warn your daddas. Or your support people, mother, friend, doula, whoever's with you. Just go ahead and let them know, hey, why don't we do from waist up? But it was really just an incredible experience. After everything was finished, they did weigh him. They placed him in my arms, and we went back to the room. But he was kind of propped up on the side here, and my arm was out here. I personally was under some drugs and not really able to support his head and support him enough. Like, of course, that wasn't the best a minute ago. But he was just propped up here until we went back to the room. And I really also do encourage you, mom, support person, husband, whoever's with you, take a little bit of time for you and the baby before you do bring your visitors in. I think we waited maybe 40 minutes or so just to kind of get acclimated and give me a second to pull myself together. And it may have been shorter. I may have been more like 30 minutes. I don't know. It wasn't that long, but I did get the parents in there to see our little one. And after the parents came in, everybody then did leave and give us a couple hours just to kind of pull ourselves together. We did want to get the mamas and the daddies in there and the grandparents, just all of them, to be able to see him and hold him and know he's okay and show him their love right away. That's your choice. You are able to do what you are comfortable with, and I encourage you just to really look at all your options and then make a decision together with your spouse, and also really see what mom's comfortable with, because this is your surgery. It is a major surgery. You don't know how you're going to feel. Don't make promises before. And that's what I did. I did not make any promises to people before. I told them I would see how things went, and Brad stuck by me, and we decided in the moment that it was a good decision for us. But it's your birth, and you need to do what you're comfortable with. But no matter what, let everybody know that all you want is support and love for your little one. But that's our story. Have a good day.